Oklahoma Gardening is a production of the Oklahoma Cooperative Extension Service as part of the land grant mission of the Division of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources at Oklahoma State University, dedicated to improving the quality of life of the citizens of Oklahoma through research-based information. Underwriting assistance for our program is provided by the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping to keep Oklahoma green and growing. Today on Oklahoma Gardening, host Casey Hentges has a bold Oklahoma-proven tree for the landscape. OSU Turfgrass Specialist Dennis Martin shows how Bermudagrass varieties are trialed. Turfgrass Specialist Justin Moss visits a home lawn that is planted with the new OSU Tahoma 31 Bermudagrass. We meet up with another undergraduate researcher who is working on controlling squash bugs. And we continue our tour of Italy with a visit to a unique butcher shop on a hilltop village in the province of Pisa.
We're here with Arizona Cypress, another Oklahoma-proven tree that we want to introduce to you. Now, this tree is a native to southwestern U.S., and so therefore you might guess that it can thrive in our hot, dry conditions. And it also prefers a well-drained soil. Typically, the thing that you might notice first of all is the foliage on it, and it has this beautiful gray-green, almost into a blue color foliage. There is a popular cultivar called Cook's Peak, which was discovered in Cook's Peak, New Mexico, and it has a bit more of a silvery bluish foliage to it and a bit more of a pyramidal form to the overall shape of the tree. There's also some cultivars that are becoming more popular that have a bit more of a yellow foliage to them. Typically, Arizona cypress get about 20 to 25 feet tall with about a 15-foot spread. Also, as Arizona cypress get a bit older, you'll start to see more of the exfoliating bark on the trunk of the tree, revealing orange and green.
We're going to talk about two exciting Bermudagrass products from the Specialty Crops Research Initiative Drought Resistance Trials. The program for development of improved drought resistance in Bermudagrass began in a multi-state project in 2011. And it was in the late teens of the 2000s that the first products actually got released. Those included Tahoma 31 and then also TifTuf. The Tahoma 31 is a product of Oklahoma State University, and TifTuf is a product of the University of Georgia. Actually, 5 universities worked collectively in the co-development of these lines. To my left is Tahoma 31. In the National Turf Evaluation Program trials, it appears as OKC 1131, but the registered trademark name of Tahoma 31 Bermudagrass has been applied for. It's very dense, medium to dark green, can tolerate cutting heights between 1/8 of an inch up to about 1.5 inches, maybe even up to 2.5 inches. And it's got excellent winter tolerance, early spring green up, and then also is very water use efficient. If you have to get a lot of growth out of a grass while you're still putting a lot of traffic on it, you're going to have to water it. And it uses that water very, very efficiently. Next, I'd like to show you TifTuf. I think it's a catchy name. It's from the University of Georgia, and it comes from a long line of superior products produced by that breeding program. And Tif merely means that it was created and developed from the Tifton, Georgia area. Tif does not mean fine textured, by the way, folks, because there are many great forage Bermudagrasses that start out with the name Tif as well, and they are very, very coarse textured and great forages, but they're not turf types. Traditionally, Tifway was used in Oklahoma up to about I-40, and it lacked winter hardiness for the northern part of the state. But TifTuf has good winter hardiness, and this is actually one of the most drought-resistant Bermudagrasses in the marketplace now. So you've got a choice of Tahoma 31 or TifTuf as two of the most drought-resistant Bermudas at this time. This one's not quite as dense and not quite as fine a textured as Tahoma 31, but it's still a great fit to the residential market. Actually probably tolerates a little higher mowing than Tahoma 31 while not getting puffy under those conditions. Now both the Tahoma 31 and the TifTuf are interspecific hybrids, and they are sterile. While they will flower occasionally, they will not produce seed. So you won't be able to go out and ask to buy Bermudagrass seed of either TifTuf or Tahoma 31 because it doesn't exist. They have to be planted by either sprigs, plugs, or sod in order to establish them. They require no special care in terms of their establishment or maintenance. So you can use the Bermudagrass management calendar information that's found in HLA Fact Sheet 6420, Lawn Management in Oklahoma, when you go to manage either one of these Bermudagrasses. We hope you'll give them a try because we think they have excellent adaptation to our state.
Wow, what a beautiful home we're at here today with Dr. Doug Needham. And you have lots of things to see at your home, and I think the viewers have seen some of those before, but today we're going to look at your turf grass, your yard. And you have a special grass out here, right? What do you have out here?
We do. This is Tahoma 31, which of course, as you know, is the newest Bermudagrass release from Oklahoma State.
That's right, developed right at Oklahoma State University. Dr. Wu and his team and many others worked hard to get this out, and now some sod growers have it across the United States. This particular patch of grass here was delivered from Riverview Sod Ranch over in Bixby, is that correct?
That's right, yes.
And when did they put this down for you?
This was put down just prior to Labor Day of 2017.
Okay, so it's been down a little while now,
So it's
right?
now at 2 years.
2 years. And boy, it just looks great. It looks beautiful.
Oh, thank
nice
you.
and green. And, so what are some of the things that you really like about this grass? What do you like about this?
I love that it is so dense
Yeah.
and so fine bladed.
Yeah.
It feels fabulous under bare feet.
And that's important.
Well, we've had some garden tours this
Yeah.
year, and folks have really talked about the turf grass
Yeah.
when they would come, just how beautiful it is, how uniform it is, the smoothness of the surface.
Right. Yeah, it just kind of stands out here in this beautiful home you have
Oh,
here,
thank
right?
you.
And so obviously you have to mow this grass, you have to fertilize this grass, maybe give some key waterings, correct? How is it done for you as far as just the growth of the grass? Has it filled in nicely after being sodded in? Any trouble or anything like that?
It has filled in well because this was new construction.
Yeah.
There was certainly soil damage, and,
Right.
so it didn't necessarily have the best topsoil remaining, and so we did find that nutritionally the soil was low on all three major nutrients, N, P, and K, through a soil test that OSU did.
Right.
And so that really informed us what protocol to follow, and so Dr. Dennis Martin prescribed the different fertilizer that I should be putting down to help correct that deficiency
Right.
this year.
So we see that pretty commonly is a lot of times it's whether we have an older grass or a newer grass release, you start to have some problems. Well, you take a soil test and you find out, oh wow, some of my nutrients are deficient. So yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, because typically the fertilizer that a homeowner would be applying is primarily nitrogen on a lawn.
That's right, yeah.
And without that soil test, we wouldn't have known that it was quite deficient on phosphorus and potassium.
So you get that fertility fixed up, you put a little water on it, it starts to grow, right? And then you got to mow it.
We had to mow.
So we have a couple of mowers here, and tell us your experience about using some of these mowers you have.
Sure. So my traditional mower is a rotary, a 21-inch rotary mower, and that works great for that first scalping right at the beginning of spring. I set it down to its lowest notch and mowed the whole thing at 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
And then throughout the, say to the midsummer, I was mowing at 1¼ inches. But I wasn't real satisfied with the appearance. As we got into late summer. I was seeing a lot of the swirls from the rotary blade, and it just didn't have as beautiful appearance as I wanted to see.
That's one of the disadvantages of the rotary mower. As you get to a lower mowing height, yeah, you can start to see this. Actually, we did a little demonstration. We've got a nice little rotary circle there that we accidentally put back in the yard there, didn't we? So. Boy, that's a challenge with these new grasses. Is obviously you are a pure horticulturalist, right? And so for you, this is your passion, and you enjoy working out.
I do.
Now, the thing is though, you've actually been mowing this 3 times a week, correct?
Every third day.
Every third day, yeah. And so we wanted to test out a different mower just for kind of a demonstration for you. What do you think about this reel mower that we have, this fancy reel mower?
Yeah, so I mean, the greens mower, this reel mower, does a beautiful cut. Didn't see any swirl patterns, of course, because it doesn't have a blade going around and around in that direction. The cut is beautiful, but because the land is kind of sloped and undulating, it's a little difficult for me to manage, just because of the way that it is power driven by a drum rather than by tires.
That's right. So that drum on the back starts to spin, and you get a little snake pattern, a little wiggling around there. So, hey, that's going to happen. So this is really something for a homeowner to be aware of, that this is a special grass really developed by OSU for high-end sports fields, for a lot of high-end use. Can a homeowner use it? Yes, they can. Absolutely. But some challenges exist for a homeowner, right? Especially when it comes to mowing. If you have a level yard, maybe it's a little bit easier, but if you have any undulations or anything, trying to mow it, and this is not one that we want to mow like at 2 or 2.5 inches, right?
No.
Right.
Yeah. The 1¼ inch is where we're essentially trying to maintain it.
Right.
And of course, from a breeding perspective and from a selection perspective, it was selected for even a much shorter mowing height than what a homeowner might do at 1¼ inch.
Yeah. So all things considered, this is a beautiful lawn. It's a beautiful turf. It is some hard work, but the hard work pays off.
It does. Yes. It sure does.
Well, thank you, Doug, for showing us today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Good to have you.
Dr. Doug Needham, we're here in your Tahoma 31 Bermudagrass yard. Little shady side of the yard over here, right?
That's right. Probably a east-northeast direction.
So this area here, it's right now, we're kind of in the mid-morning here. It's pretty shady here, but the Tahoma looks okay. So tell us what's going on here.
Absolutely. So you're right. It's a very dappled light at this point, and while it's not as dense as it is out in the full sun, there's still excellent coverage, and I think that's primarily because here in a matter of maybe an hour or so, the sun then's going to hit an opening in the tree canopy, and this then gets bathed in a couple hours of good, intense sunlight.
Right. So that's so important for any Bermuda grass. It needs sunlight during the day. So
it is a growing plant.
What happens when it doesn't get as much sunlight as you would like?
Yeah, so I mean, interestingly, right at this particular time of day, we're seeing quite a bit of sunlight up here against the house, but it's for such a brief moment.
Yeah.
It may be lighted for 20 to 30 minutes, and that's it in the day. And the rest of the day, it is totally shaded. So you can see it's just very, very thin, very little coverage here.
So that's a challenge. Not enough sunlight in any Bermuda grass. It's going to be hard to get it to grow. Now you've sometimes you'll edge your yard. You'll maybe have a few sprigs that get into the landscape bed, and you've just been kind of throwing them over here. What's been going on?
That's right. So when we had this sodded, it covered a certain amount of the area, but not everywhere. And so out here in this area that had not been sodded, but I could see there was some nice dappled light, I just collected the little clippings from out of the foundation bed where it had scampered in, or maybe around the rock garden, and literally just brought them out here and just put them in. There's not even any irrigation out here.
No irrigation.
And I think this is maybe a testament to the other great characteristic of Tahoma 31 is it's very drought tolerant turfgrass.
Right.
And so it's filling in nicely.
So this is a Tahoma 31 is something you can use in the shade, but like you said, it needs to get some sun during the day. And if you're in heavy dense shade, it's going to be really thin, just like really any other Bermuda grass would do. So no magic here.
Nope.
Still have to have sunlight for grass to grow, right?
That's right.
But this is a beautiful area. Thanks for showing us today.
Oh, you're most welcome.
We have the salami with red wine. The salami which is the meat from the shoulder.
Andrea, thank you for having us. We are delighted to be in the beautiful town of San Miniato.
Thank you.
It is absolutely gorgeous, as is your meat shop. So could you explain a little bit how your family came to own such a thing? Because I know you've been here for generations now.
Yeah, yes, I am a fourth generation. Sam, Vasco, my grandfather, after my father, Sergio, and now I. As a fourth generation since 1925. And when I start to work here, I respect my background, my culture, my historic family, traditional, and I choose to change a modern method for the butcher's method, as a new philosophy, a new method for when I was young. And after I continue to the live concerts or performance inside the butcher shop, and very interesting when call me for all parts in the world to teaching the method for cut and makeup products.
Do you feel that the community has embraced you? I know that you're far-reaching, much beyond the community, but the community, you are able to use local ingredients. Do you hire people to gather the fennel seeds and things like that?
Yeah, when we use the ingredients for makeup products, it's very original from the local. Because we born for local culture, and we don't change the method. We respect, but we have an evolution for makeup products.
Right.
But you can study and you can organize it to survive at this change, to this natural change. It is natural. It's not very so nice, but it's you can organize it.
Yeah. Would you recommend that other people try to follow, not necessarily with meat, but follow this system of respecting the tradition, working forward with evolution and imagination and creation, but following a slow food philosophy?
It's very important your background because it's your identity. Now, it's okay. We respect the recipes. We respect the method for make our recipes or products, but you studying for yourself is the evolution to make a product or make a recipes for the kitchen. And because the epoch is a change, the taste for the people is a change.
Yes.
For respect your background, but for new era.
I think not only with the food, but with everything else in the culture.
Yeah,
that
sure.
is so important. That's why
Yes,
we have
because
our
it's a
students
food
here.
that's important, but the food is from the culture.
Yes.
And you studying the foods, the recipes, the meat, organic, fish, what you prefer. But it's important studying the culture for the place.
Yes.
We can change. We can.
Yeah. We all do whether we want to or not, but it's nice to have some control over how you're making the change. I want to thank you for taking a few minutes from your day
No,
to visit
thank
with
you.
us. We really appreciate it. We're from the center of the United States in Oklahoma.
Yeah, sure.
So
I know
it's,
Oklahoma because I show you the Thunder, basketball.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely the
Westbrook, Paul George. I like so much of basketball, NBA, and I show you the match in the nights because we have the jet lag. And,
Yeah.
that's about
Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Ciao.
Hey, I'm DeAnthony Price. I'm from South Georgia, which is about 14 hours east. I am a senior majoring in agricultural communications at Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. This summer, I have had the opportunity to work with Dr. Lynn Brandenberger and Miss M. Carrier on squash. And what we are doing is we are trying to find different ways to present squash bugs. And so throughout the summer, we have been through multiple challenges. One of them is obviously squash bugs. And what they do is they get into the squash and they suck the sap. And then, and so normally they just all cluster up together, and they are like a goldeny type of color, which for this plot, it is good to have squash bugs. Because we want the squash bugs rather on the uncovered plots than covered plots. That means obviously the uncovered plots are working. We actually started taking harvest data, which was about 3 weeks ago. And so what we do is we come out here, we pick all of the squash that we can, and then we take down the data. And so hopefully by the end of this week, we will be able to collect all of the data and see how the squash bugs has affected the harvest of the squash. This summer has been an awesome experience for me, simply because I'm from South Georgia, and so just coming to the Midwest and just learning about new cultures here, and then also ag here, because ag here is very, very different from ag in South Georgia. And so being able to work in a production field, and I'm trying to grow something that you eat is awesome, because without farms, we have no food. So there we go.
There are lots of great horticultural events this time of year. Be sure and consider these activities when you're making your plans for the weeks ahead. Next week, we start peeking into some Oklahoma gardeners' sheds to find great ideas and inspiration for our own workspaces. Barbara Brown explores Italian olive oil and pasta. Another undergraduate researcher pulls the cover off his research. And we meet a very special new Oklahoma gardener. We hope you join us then for more TV you'll grow to love. To find out more information about show topics, as well as recipes, videos, articles, fact sheets, and other resources, including a directory of local extension offices, be sure and visit our website, oklahomagardening.okstate.edu. And we always have great information, answers to questions, photos, and gardening discussions on your favorite social media as well. Join in on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find this entire show and other recent shows, as well as individual segments on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And tune in to our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel to watch segments from previous hosts. Oklahoma Gardening is produced by the Oklahoma Cooperative Extension Service as part of the Division of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources at Oklahoma State University. The Botanic Garden at OSU is home to our studio gardens, and we encourage you to come visit this beautiful Stillwater jewel. We would like to thank our generous underwriter, the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry. Additional support is also provided by Pond Pro Shop, Greenleaf Nursery and the Garden Debut Plants, the Oklahoma Horticultural Society, and the Tulsa Garden Club.